Hiya. Okay, so in this video I'm going to explain how to draw Venn diagrams. So what I would recommend doing is pausing the video here and actually trying the question first, because even if you get it wrong, learning from your mistakes is one of the best ways of learning. Right, so let's give it a go then. So in a company, the 200 employees are classified as either full-time workers, part-time workers, or contractors. The table below shows a number of employees who walk to work or use some form of transport. Okay, so out of the full-time workers, 2 of them walk and the rest get some form of transport. Out of the part-time workers, 35 walk, 75 get other form of transport, and contractors, 30 walk, 50 get transport. Okay, it says the events F, H, and C are that an employer is a full-time worker, a part-time worker, or contractor. So I'll just make a note of that. So F are the full-time workers, H, which I guess means half, is like half-time, part-time worker, and C is contractor. And let B be the number of people that use a bus. So B is for the bus. Given that 10% of full-time workers use the bus, 30% of part-time workers use the bus, and 20% of contractors use the bus, draw a Venn diagram of the events F, H, C, and B. Okay, so we'll start there. This is the next part of the question. We'll do that afterwards, but we'll just start by drawing a Venn diagram with the full-time workers, half-time workers, contractors, and buses. So we need to use this information that says, given that 10% of full-time workers use the bus, so we need to first of all total all these up. So first of all we need to add these up to find the total number of people on buses. Okay, so we know that add walking and transport as every form of transport together, that's 10. 35 and 75, that means we've got 110 part-time workers. Contractors, we've got 80 of those. Now we're told that, so here we go, so let's write use bus. So we're told that 10% of the full-time workers use the bus. So 10% of 10 is just 1. So there's only one person who's full-time that uses the bus. 30% of part-time workers use the bus. Well, 10% of that is 11. So 30% is going to be 33 people. And finally, 20% of the contractors use the bus, which is going to be 16 people. Now the next thing that we need to do is work out how many people are left over. So if out of the 10 full-time workers, one's using the bus, that means other forms of transport other than buses, which could be walking, cycling, car, whatever. You've got 9 of those. It's 10 in total. One's using the bus, other than bus is 9. Left over from here is going to be 77, and left over from here is going to be 64. Okay, now we can start and go ahead and draw the Venn diagram. So what we're going to need is a nice big square or rectangle like that, and then we need to start to put in the circle. So I'm just going to put a circle in the middle that's going to represent bus. Okay, now we need to think about how these are going to be laid out. Now, you can't be a full-time worker as well as a part-time worker. You can't be both. And when we have that, it's called mutually exclusive. You can't have both. So how that looks on a Venn diagram is 2 circles that don't cross each other. So I'm going to add another circle now. We'll come back to that. But we're going to add another circle now that's going to be full-time workers. So that's bus. So let's put full-time worker. Now this one will cross over because you can be a full-time worker and get the bus. So I'll start writing on the names just so we can remember. This one here was full-time worker. And then we'll go ahead and do the others. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw the rest of it now. So as I said before, full-time worker and part-time worker are mutually exclusive. You can't be both, and therefore the circles do not cross over. So having this one as being the part-time worker would be like that, and then lastly we've got a contractor. So that's going to go down here. Again, it doesn't cross over because you can't be a part-time worker and a contractor. But it does cross over with bus because you can be a contractor who takes the bus to work. And the next thing to do is to start filling in the numbers. Now, so this is going to be full-time worker and bus. So let's look at the full-time workers who use the bus. There's only one of those, so we write that in there. Now this section here is full-time worker, but it doesn't cross into bus, so it's full-time worker who takes other transport other than bus. And we worked that out, there was 9 of those. And then half part-time worker who takes the bus, well that was 33. And then the leftover is 77. Contracted takes the bus is 16. And other forms of transport for contractors is 64. And now that's everyone. This is everyone in the company. So outside here we can just write a 0. There's no other options. But also in here we need a 0 as well, because bus, you can't take the bus unless you're a full-time worker or a half-time part-time worker or a contractor in this scenario. So you need another 0 in the middle. Okay, right, so the next part says, now find the probability that a randomly selected employee uses the bus to travel to work. So, well, the number of part-time employees who use the bus is 33. The number of full-time employees who use the bus is 1. The number of contractors who use the bus is 16. So the probability is going to be all of those added up out of the total number of employees, which is 200. So we simplify, we add these together, and that gives us 50 over 200, and that simplifies down to 1/4. Okay, well done if you got that, and thank you for watching.